Welcome to Retro Depot. My name is Doug. I have to apologize. It's been a while since I uploaded any videos, and the reason for that being is that I moved. Bought a new house, and I've been in the process of trying to get that put together. Today you're in my, kind of makeshift lab. I'm in the process of turning one of the bedrooms into a office/lab for being able to work on projects and be able to shoot videos. The lighting is not great. You'll have to excuse that. Currently I'm in the process of getting this whole thing put together, so bear with me. This is going to be kind of a shoot from the hip type video. But today I want to go over a PCB service that I actually got contacted by several months back. I've been meaning to do this video for a while and I just haven't been able to get to it. I've been in my new house now for about a month, and unfortunately for the first probably 2 months before I moved, I just wasn't able to shoot any videos because I was too busy packing and had all my equipment put up. So it has been kind of it's been difficult trying to get to this video, and I've had it sitting on the shelf for a while. We're going to take a look at the PCB, the quality that you can expect. Of course, some of the things that are a little bit less desirable with this service, and just give an honest review. That way we can take a look at it and see what type of board you can expect from Seed Studio. Now, full disclosure, they did pay for this. Not the video itself, but they did essentially give me a $25 coupon in order to order some boards for free and see what type of quality there is. Now, these boards, like I said, I didn't pay for them. They sent them to me. It was a $25 coupon for doing this video, and that paid for a run of boards. So it is what it is. So I want to go over the board with you, and I'll explain everything about it. Now, this particular board that I'm going to be showing you is the G80S microcomputer. It's the version 1.0, and the quality's right there. It's kind of what you would expect, but it's got a couple little things that you might not like. So stay tuned. If you find anything that you have questions about, feel free to ask them in the comments below, but we're going to go ahead and get started here. So here is the PCB, and of course it's pretty standard. It's green. Now this service that they offer, they can do in multiple colors of solder mask, but the cheapest kind is obviously the green, and it's okay. It's a little bit lighter than some of the other solder masks that I've had done in the past, and that's not really a big issue, but it is what it is. If you're looking for a particular shade or something that's close to match, you may end up needing to order the boards from somewhere else. But it's okay. I haven't had any problems with it. The design the tinting of the vias, I will say this, those are actually pretty nice. They leave the vias exposed, and that's really important if you plan on doing any type of mods or something along those lines. You may end up needing to grab a signal off, and you don't necessarily want to go from the pad, but at the same time it can also lead to some other issues. For example, if you have a solder bridge, it could drop on there, and it could actually cause some problems if you end up having another via that's too close. So bear that in mind. But the quality is pretty good. Let's zoom in just a second and we'll take a look at some of the pads. If I can get my camera to work here. So here are the pads and traces, as you can see, and the quality is actually quite nice. Nothing wrong with it really. It's actually a lot better than some of the other surfaces. Some of the angles, especially if we get over here, some of the angles on these are actually a lot nicer. I've noticed that with some surfaces you actually get almost like a step whenever you go to take curves and things like that. And I haven't noticed that with this. This seems like it's actually really good. You know, no problems there whatsoever. The finish is actually quite nice too. The hot air solder leveling, and you can of course see that with these larger solder points for the lugs. These right here don't have quite the buildup of solder that you get with some of the other surfaces, so they do have a little bit better process for coating the copper. You know, for whatever reason, it does come out a lot smoother, and I'm actually quite impressed with that. You flip the board over and you take a look at some of these SMD pads, and it's the same thing. You don't have the problem that you have with some of the companies where you have a little bit of buildup on these pads, so that's actually quite nice. Now, having said that, you know, the rest of the PCB is pretty much what you would expect. You know, if you go back here and take a look at these traces here, you know, they're just like they should be. No problems there. Again, you can see these vias, they don't have the tinting over them, so you don't have to worry about having solder mask over them. You can mod these things and pull signals from something else if it's not already broken out on the board. So there's a couple different ways that you can use these for, I guess, modifying. You know, it is what it is. Some people like the solder mask to cover the vias, some people don't. For me, I actually kind of like not having them there, just simply so that if there is a problem, I can, for example, if something's not working. You know, the MSI guy, he actually did a video a little while back where he was messing with one of my boards, and there was a problem with the trace from a pin on the SIO to the serial port. And the way he figured it out was, you know, by using a continuity tester. And what he determined is that one of the vias was a bad. It didn't actually connect all the way through. So he was actually able to pull that signal and figure out exactly where the disconnect was, and then, you know, make a mod that essentially fixed it. Now, I'm sure that he probably just used a jumper wire, but it may simply have been as easy as putting a small piece of wire wrap wire through that via and then soldering both ends, and it may have worked. Hard to say, but whatever the case, sometimes having those exposed vias is actually quite nice. Now, the one thing that I dislike about this board is they use reference coating, and they add it to your silk screen. So you are not going to get a board with a silk screen that you wanted. Instead, of course, I've partially sanded it off here. They give you this reference code, and with that, I don't know what they use it for. I don't know if it's for purposes of reordering boards or some type of in-house tracking. It's hard to say, but you are going to get something added to your silk screen. Now, it's small, it's usually out of the way, and it's not in a place that's really going to make that much of a difference, but they are going to add something to it. And if this is something that they can use as a reference in order to be able to go back and reorder boards, you know, if you got something that's proprietary, you might not want to do it. Now, you know, of course, the GADS is, you know, it's open for the most part. I don't provide the board files, the Gerbers, but I do provide all the software. I provide, you know, the schematics, and I provide, you know, even the code for the PLDs that are on board. So it's not really an issue with this board. Anybody that wants to make a clone, have at it. If you think you can make some money at it, by all means, go for it. But it's not as simple as just you know, having boards made and expecting to sell hundreds of them. But, you know, if you were a company that was selling something that I don't know, maybe you had, you know, 1,000 boards that you were selling in a year's time, at that point you may not want to use a service like Seed Studio, because they are going to put this reference mark on there, and that's something maybe even internally, but that's not to say that they couldn't look at it and say, yeah, we can make you some of those. I don't know if they would or not. That's kind of outside my area of expertise, but you are going to have this extra code there. It is some type of tracking number. I don't know what it is used for, but if nothing else, it does just kind of add to your silk screen. Like I mentioned before, it's usually in a place that's not going to be as noticeable, but it's going to be there. So it's to your tastes. If you like it, that's great. If not, then whatever. I guess it could be handy if for some reason you order a particular board, but then you accidentally delete your Gerber files and your design files. I guess that might be handy to go back and still be able to order that design. But with me, I don't need that. I upload everything anyways. I keep it stored in the cloud, so not really a problem. But the board itself is actually quite nice. No problems with any of the traces or anything like that. Now, I will say that as far as their website's concerned, I disliked a couple things on that. Mostly having to do with canceling out orders. Now, the orders that the best way to put it is the orders that you try to upload and then you need to go back and change something because maybe you uploaded the wrong design file. If you cancel it, before you actually pay for it, it stays in your account. It shows up as a canceled order. And that's kind of confusing whenever you're trying to go back and find exactly what it is that you're looking for as far as, keeping track of what you ordered. I noticed that because I had to cancel this run twice before I figured out exactly which design file I wanted to upload. So that's it for the board. It's pretty standard, nothing that you wouldn't expect. And of course, the quality is right there with, any other board that I've ordered. There's been a couple boards from some board houses I've ordered in the past that didn't have the quality of this. It's actually quite nice, and of course, it's got a really shiny silk screen. Nothing wrong with that. I actually would like it if somebody had a matte finish that they could do, sort of like back in the early 90s and 80s. That would actually be really nice because it helps fight some of the glare of the lab whenever you're soldering on these things. But yeah, the quality's quite nice. If you haven't checked out Seed Studio and you want some cheap PCBs, they're definitely somebody that you might check out as far as ordering. Like I mentioned before, I use a couple different board houses, so I don't know if I'm going to use this one for a lot of boards. But I may order some more stuff from them. And of course, they've got a lot of other things on their website that you can order as well, and they've got some of their own designs, Arduino clones, and things like that. Of course, every board house is going to have that these days, but it just gives you some more options. So let's take a look at the website. So I'm going over their website now, and they've got lots of things that they offer here. If you look at, for example, here on the front page, they have lots of little modules, some Wi-Fi modules, and Arduino type stuff here. Lots of various different things. But again, that's just some of the things that they offer here at the website. Seed Studio is one of the bigger players in the market, so there's lots of things that they actually provide. It looks like even some single board computers and whatnot. So some pretty neat stuff. But what we're concerned about is the PCB manufacturing. So we're going to go up here to Services. And at Services, you'll have to scroll down. But they can design anything to fit your solution. They've got some processing time, to actually manufacture designs for other people. Really neat stuff. I don't think that's what we're looking for, though. So we're going to the bazaar here, and then Maker Culture, Fusion PCB. There we go. So now this would be like anything else. You'd simply come in here and you'd upload your Gerber file, and then of course it's going to ask you exactly where you want it, and then it'll auto-generate. But just as a idea, 100 by 100 by 10 PCBs is only going to cost you $4.90 US. That's a pretty good deal. But they've got all kinds of options here. They even offer flexible boards. Now those get quite a bit more expensive. So even just to get 5, you're looking at $300. Probably not much of a spin up after that, though. Yeah, I mean, even going up to 30 boards, say 250 boards. So yeah, I mean, it's an option. They can do aluminum. If I said that correctly, I've never been able to say that word, aluminum. So anyways, lots of things here. So we're just going to take a look at this real quick. Up to 6-layer boards they can do. I've never done anything more than a 2-layer board myself, but I'm sure some people would like to do 4-layer, 6-layer, especially if you're doing BGA type stuff. You can get up to 8,000 boards. It's not a problem whatsoever. They can do it.
I wonder what the cost on that would be. Only $7,000, so you're getting down to less than $1 a board at that point. Not bad, but you're well under that here too. I would almost rather just order, 100 times that, because I mean that's only going to be, what would that be? Shifted over 2 spaces, $490 for quite a few boards. So yeah, probably be the easier way of going about it. Just order the same board 100 times. But anyhow, the website's not that much different from JLC PCB or from Elecro or any of the other ones. They all seem to use the same type ordering software. So that kind of leads me to believe that all these companies basically, they're all connected somehow or another. I don't know if they use the same board house or what. Obviously not, because some of them have different quality of their boards, but it's a real possibility. But anyways, so let's say we wanted to do a 160 by 100 board, or a Euro card, if you will. Price went up quite substantially, so yeah, apparently it's quite a bit more expensive to do that here, and even in comparison to some of the other board houses, that's a little bit more expensive. I think through JLC PCB it's only about $35, somewhere in there, last time I ordered. Hard to say. But you can also pick how many designs you have, and then you can pick board thickness, what color you want your solder mask. And then, of course, this is what I was mentioning before. Not only do they have the gold finish for the board, but you can actually do hard gold. Now, if you do hard gold, you'll see price goes up quite a bit. But it is an option there. And for some applications, you absolutely want that. Especially anything that's going to, like PC cards and things of that nature. Things that are going to be going in and out of a socket quite regularly. Those are types of things that you want hard gold finished, and the reason for that being is because of the wear and tear. You'll start, wearing away even at the normal, gold finish that you get here. But for what we normally do, it's going to be hassle, or you can do hassle lead free. It's not that much more expensive, and of course you can, specify a couple other things here. For example, copper weight, you can go up to 3 ounce or 2 ounce if you want. I normally find that 1 ounce is good enough. If it were something like a power supply, I'd probably go up to 2 ounce, but I've never found a need for 3 ounce. I guess in some applications you might need that. Now, one thing you will want to pay attention to is minimum hole drill size. This is really important, because if you're using very, very fine holes, you're probably going to need to shift this over, and you can see how just shifting that from 0.3 mil to 0.2, that takes you up to twice the cost. So keep that in mind. Also, trace width. I never need anything smaller than that. That's fine for everything that I do. If I were doing some small BGA stuff, yeah, maybe, but for what I do, yeah, that's gonna work. Blind vias, they don't offer that, so not really an issue. Plated half holes, never had to deal with that before, so and then impedance control, not really an issue for us. But then also they have an assembly option, so you can actually send them your bill of materials and get them to actually assemble it for you. Now, I'm not going to tell you whether or not they're going to actually be able to get the specific components that you do. For an example, for my purposes, this would never work, because half the parts I use are no longer made. They're no longer manufactured. So that's probably not going to be something that they're going to be able to accommodate. But for some people, might be able to do it. And of course, if you're doing a bunch of SMT stuff, they can do stencils for you as well. And I'm sure these are probably metallic stencils, but I've seen some that are also like some type of almost like transfer plastic type sheets. It kind of varies on what you need, I suppose. But that's also an option. And of course, that would add to the cost up here. You can see that's actually going to bump it up to $52. So, but we don't need that. And of course, now it drops down to $42.15. So that's kind of the breakdown of their standard, Fusion PCB service. They also have a couple other options here. You can do the premium PCB, which I've never actually done this, but it's an interesting little option that they have. You can go up to 8 layers, And of course that's going to be, pretty impressive. And of course, you get a little bit different materials here, and I'm not familiar with these two. I'm sure that's some type of new high-end PCB material. Let's see if it tells us anything about it. No, nothing. I figured there might be one of those little pop-up help windows. But yeah, you can go 8 layers. So 100 by 100, 8 layers. That's going to be pretty decent. And of course, you maintain that at 1.6 millimeters. Man, that's really some BGA type stuff there. You got plenty of places to put those traces. But yeah, they offer this, and of course it is quite a bit more expensive. But if you're doing something, especially with, for example, really fine pitched FPGAs, this may be what you have to go to. So, and of course they also have some other services as well. They have 3D printing. They can help you out with any type of project that you need to have manufactured. So you upload your design file, and then let's see if I can upload this. And this is one that I've been playing with. So let's see what this would cost. This is a case for a NanoPeb, something that's used with the TI-99, and it's a pretty easy to use little design, not real big, but I may end up having to pause the video and wait until this thing is loaded. I think we'll probably do that. We'll be back when this thing is done. Okay, we're back. So it's loaded up, and of course, you've got the design right here, and it actually only printed half of it. It didn't print the back to it. But this is a design that I did. It's for basically a sidecar for the TI-99 computer. And I'm getting ready to actually release this to the wild. It's going to be up on both Thingiverse, my website, as well as Atari Age. So it's going to be out there, and I'm not going to offer any printing services, but there will be some printing services. Of course, hey, why not use Seed Studio here? They actually offer a printing service. Now, it's quite expensive, but hey, for what it is, might be very handy. Now, if you just wanted one, it looks like they can print it for $45.89. Now, that's SLA. Of course, they have a couple of different things that they can print here. And let's take a look and see what they got. Let's try wood. So if you wanted this in wood PLA, you can get it for $30. That's not that bad. Nylon up to 130. You can even get it in stainless steel. Wow, 3D printing really is coming along, isn't it? Molded steel. Wow, that's pretty impressive. I'd say that would be, if you needed to have a project done, that would be the way to go about it. And then, like I said, normal SLA is going to be $45.89. And of course, they got some descriptions here as far as what each one is able to do. Now, they also have some stuff here as far as PCB layout. Never really done anything with this. It looks like you can provide a sketch file or a PDF of your schematic, and they'll actually redesign it for you and then design the board. Preliminary quote is $97, and of course, it's going to ask you how many pads there are and things like that. But of course, they'll also give you some, designer tools here. That way, you can do whatever you need to do with it. I guess if you wanted to keep the design files. So yeah, I mean, they've got lots of options here. Like I said, I've never used Seed Studio before. This is kind of the first time that I've ever used them, and I've been pretty happy with the service. Like I said before, there are some, I guess you can say, flaws with their board. I don't like that, reference number on the silk screen. First off, if you're going to put it on there, put it on the back. Don't put it on the front. Put it on the back. And secondly, really, you're gonna, reference somebody's, information. I don't know. I don't really care for that aspect of it. But, if you're just doing prototypes, or if it's just something that you're keeping in-house, okay, all right, yeah, sounds good. Now, other than that, though, lots of stuff that they offer. Like I mentioned before, you can, do their Fusion PCB. It's a great service. It's pretty good price. There's only a couple places I know of that you're going to get a board for less than $5. or 10 boards for that matter. Now you got to factor in shipping, and of course shipping is going to be a little bit expensive, but hey, for what you're getting, that's still a great price. So I guess that's it. So if you haven't tried them, go ahead and give them a try. The service itself isn't that bad. It doesn't take that long to get to you. I think shipping altogether was only about a week and a half. I think I did DHL shipping, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I ordered these PCBs, so I can't remember for certain, but it didn't take that long. It was only like a week to week and a half between the time that they finished the between the time that I ordered and actually received the board. It's probably a week and a half to 2 weeks, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad at all. So if you're interested in something like this, go ahead and check them out. They do offer a lot of things. If you need, it's almost like a one-stop shop for everything prototyping. So, you can design your PCB, you can design your case, you can have your case and your PCB manufactured through their 3D printing service. And heck, if you just want to draw the schematic, you can send it to them. They'll do the board design for you. You get the board, design a case around it, and then turn around and have them print it for you. So it's kind of a one-stop shop. You can do just about whatever you want with this manufacturing service. A little bit more expensive than some of the others out there. PCB service itself is not bad. It's actually really decently priced. The only drawback that I found is just that reference number. So check them out.
So that's it. Not a bad service for what it is. The PCB turned out okay. Of course, you have the issues with like the reference marking that Seed Studio always puts on their boards. I don't know if that's just for internal use or if there's some type of other meaning to that, but whatever the case, there is a reference mark on it. I'm not too worried about it because, it is what it is. It's in a location that is not very noticeable, and it's small enough that it doesn't really affect the board any, but for me it's not really that big of a deal. For you it might be, I don't know. Now, having said that, of course, Seed Studio, they are very kind in doing that $25 coupon and essentially sending me these boards for free, because it covered the cost of a small batch of 10 boards along with the shipping cost. So no big deal there. That they were very nice about that, and of course, it gives me some extra material to put on the channel. That way, people can view it, see what they think, and of course, I always like the traffic because it helps lead to some of my other projects that I do that people might be more interested in. So, having said that, I am happy with the turnout of the boards themselves. Nothing special about it. It's not the normal service that I typically use. And I don't necessarily think that I'm going to be, switching over to it, for any, type of long duration. I've got several different board houses that I use depending upon, what type of board I'm going to be making. Some board houses do a little bit better job at some details of boards. For example, if you needed something with gold fingers, you might actually want those, hard gold plated versus, another fab house that would just do, gold plating throughout the whole board. So there's various reasons to use some PCB manufacturers versus others, and this is just one example of those. For what it is, it's a very good board. It's got an awesome price to it, and nothing wrong with the price, and the quality's great. So, if there's anything that you have questions about, like I mentioned before, ask them below. Check out the website. If you don't follow the blog, I do tend to post there a little bit more than I upload videos, just simply because of the fact that it's very difficult to find the time to shoot videos these days. I'm not planning on giving up YouTube at all, but I do have an everyday life. I've got things that I need to get done around the house, especially since I'm moving in. I need to build all kinds of storage along this wall. I need to build a brand new desk. I've got a lot of things that I need to get done in here, and unfortunately that takes away from time to be able to shoot videos and edit those and get them uploaded. That does take a lot of time. And of course, quite frankly, YouTube doesn't really pay me anything for doing this. I don't have enough traffic and probably never will in order to be able to justify having any type of revenue from YouTube. So having said that, I find it easier to upload to the blog a lot more than I, do YouTube. It's faster. I can type something up in an hour and have it up on the blog with, videos, or not videos, but pictures and reference diagrams and, whatever it is. YouTube, I still have to do the blog portion of it, but then I also have, probably at least an hour or two of shoot time, and I also have probably at least, 2 to 3 hours of video editing, along with, the time to do the conversion into a format that's, compatible with YouTube. So if you want to see exactly what I'm up to, website's probably going to be your best bet. Now, having said that, I don't even upload there every day. Here lately, it's been once every week and a half to 2 weeks. But I do try to upload something as often as possible. And like I said, I'm getting moved into the new house. I'm still trying to get my lab set up, so I haven't had a lot of time to mess with projects. Right now, I'm messing with some things concerning the IBM PC, the TI-99 4A, and a couple other older home computer systems. So if you want to check out that material, I'm probably going to be posting it on the blog here pretty soon, and probably in the next couple weeks. I may end up doing a video. It kind of depends on where I'm at with the lab and the rest of the house, to be honest with you. I've got a lot of work to do around here making this place my home. So, like I said before, if you want to see what I'm up to, check out the website, ask comments below. If you like the video, please subscribe, and of course, we'll see you next time.